Hello there, I'm Mr. Enthusiast and welcome to my channel. So if you saw the previous video that I did, I pulled out this old compact pre-built desktop that I've got here, and it was the last pre-built system that I bought for myself PC wise, and I've had it for some years now, and it's pretty much been untouched for 3 or 4 years, give or take. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of show off, what a pre-built system looked like some 6-7 years ago, which is when it was bought for me. What we've got inside there, and what I used to have to work with. See if there's anything there worthwhile. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you is I'm actually quite impressed with how stylish the case is, considering again it was a pre-built system. It's quite old. The power button is actually here on the side, hidden away, which is quite nice, and you just saw me flick it open, but the optical drive did actually used to push its way out, shut itself over again. It was literally just a plastic tab on a spring, and the optical drive literally just pushed its way out and it pushed back in when it was done. 2 USB 2.0 ports there, you can see yourself, headphone mic and SD card reader, which again for the time quite nice to have. You can see there's no kind of air intake on the front, but what we have got is some small slots in the side of the front panel for a little bit of airflow. Same on the other side, and again it's perforated on both sides of the actual case itself. Now 3 of the panels are actually riveted on, so they're not removable. This entire outer shell here, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, all we have is one thumb screw, and it's actually captive. Not bad for a pre-built system from back in the day. Just holding that in place. Now, oh yeah, that's dusty. Okay, so as you can see, power supply on the top, optical drive here, tons of cables in the way, 3.5 inch hard drive, and the motherboard is actually upside down in this configuration, and we've actually got a Cooler Master fan, which again not bad for a pre-built, and 1 exhaust fan, so we've got no intake fans, just the exhaust fan and the CPU fan, with a pretty decent pretty decent, I forgot what it's called, my brain's gone, heatsink, there we go. So pretty decent sized heatsink. So I'm going to try and pop these components out and have a decent look at it. Okay, so first let's unclip everything. So I realise you can't see anything from there. Let's try and turn it around, shall we? Make my life more difficult, but there you go. If I come round and join you on this side. So again, I can't tell how bright this actually is for you. Probably not very good. So let's just pop out the fan header. It's in there quite well. Does that just pull out, or am I missing something? Yeah, it just pulls out. I was just being too cautious. Okay. Fan header out. second fan, exhaust fan. It's there, and then this cable here. There we go. That's a 4-pin power supply. It looks like. Wow, 4-pin power. Okay, and then we got the 16-pin. That's in there good. The dust is getting everywhere. Come on. There we go. Okay, 16-pin is it. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. We've got a nice bit of cable routing going on here. This must be to the USB SD reader and audio on the front. That's quite nice actually. Okay, so we've got SATA connector for the hard drive. There we are. And then we've got the SATA connector for the optical drive. Okay, and then front connection. There we go. So that's the power connector for the front. Let's just take this out for fun. Okay. There. Okay. Now, actually, we can take this front panel off. So, just unclip these here. That's actually quite a nice system. Yeah, so this is actually removable, and so is this for expansion, which again, it's all quite nice for such an old system. And you can see more clearly, we've got the 3.5-inch drive and our different options here for connectivity. It looks like we actually had another slot there. It was unused. Interesting. Okay. So, back to this mess. Let's disconnect power to the SD. There we go. And disconnect power to the drive. So that's all the power cables out of the way. Okay, then we've just got these data connections. 4-pin headers. Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all. I'm genuinely quite impressed with how this has all been put together. Okay, let's get the motherboard out and have a look at it. Now, I was expecting Phillips screws, but it looks like these are Allen keys and flathead options. Let's see if we've got an Allen key that fits it. So a bit easier to work with for me. Ironically, I do have my Allen keys up here, just in case. So when I was looking at taking this apart, I assumed the rivets might be a very small Allen key, but it's definitely a rivet. Next one down probably. No, I'm not very good at figuring out Allen keys just by looking at them. Definitely not very good at it. Oh, and what do you know? It actually is an Allen key. Okay, so I'll stay over here for this part now. So, now this is actually the first time I've ever completely stripped a PC down like this. I've got two of the motherboard, the power supply, the optical drive, but I've never actually completely removed everything. So this is a little bit of a, I wouldn't say learning experience because I understood how to do it, but definitely a first time actually doing it in practice. That one seems a bit rounded. So let's try the slightly bigger one. No, that's not fitting. Yeah. It's not good for you. Okay, so I'm going to have to get the flathead for that. I've been lied to. I've always told it's only a Phillips screwdriver, not a flat one. There it is. Let's just stick with the flathead now that I've got it. That's what I get for being lazy. There we go. My hair is getting everywhere. What's left of it. Again, I'm really surprised with the build quality of this pre-built system. I think I was lucky here. I might look up the specs of the Pentium. I might see if it's worth actually upgrading this system rather than just getting rid of it. Now, I don't know how much RAM I've got in there, but as soon as I get the motherboard out, I'll have a look. I'm also probably going to strip off the cooler just to have a look at the CPU. Now, I don't have any isopropyl alcohol to clean it off, so I don't know how well I'm going to be able to have a look at the actual IHS. But again, it's just interesting to see an older generation or two of tech when I wasn't really into it back when it was relevant, so I don't even know what this CPU will look like. I think that's all of them. So let's see what happens. Oh, yep, we have liftoff. However, this fan might be in the way. So, okay, I've got to take out the fan. And that is Phillips. Okay. Again, this is what I get for trying to do shortcuts. brand of fan is this? Foxconn. Again, I've never heard of them, maybe out, but yeah, just look at that for dust. I should definitely be ashamed of myself for that. That has never been cleaned out, but still turns without any kind of rattling, any kind of noise. Still in good condition, other than the fact it really needs a clean. Okay, since I'm back on this side, I might as well stay on this side. And let's get this motherboard out. Yeah. Let's see if we can tell what kind of board it is. I can't see any branding on it, so we've got LAN chip audio. If you're curious about the back, there are connectors. VGA, 4 USB, LAN, and your audio connectors. So yeah, back before the days of HDMI being standard output, and yeah, obviously before DisplayPort. So we've got Intel. I don't know if that's probably the chipset. Yeah, I can't see any indication of what brand this motherboard is. It's Mini ATX board anyway. That's all I can tell you from that. So let's take the RAM out and see what kind of RAM we've got. Just put it there. Okay. Wow. I'm guessing this is DDR3, but I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you just by looking at it, unless it's on the board. Oh wow, this is a 1 gig stick. Wow, so I was running 2 gigs of RAM on this. Jeez. Okay, I definitely needed better RAM than this. Okay. What we got there? Yeah, it's not telling me what. I don't know how to tell what kind of RAM it is, whether it's DDR3 or 2. I'm just going to guess 3. But yeah. Let's just make sure they're both 1 gig sticks. I can't imagine it being anything else, but yeah, 1 gig. I was running 2 gigs of RAM. Oof. Okay. Now for the CPU. I don't know if the screwdriver is going to fit down there, but let's give it a go. Nope, doesn't fit. But it looks like the Allen key again, so let's try the Allen key. Let's try the smaller Allen key, shall we? Oh, we've got a voice. Again, this will be interesting for me because I've never actually pulled off a CPU cooler personally. I've seen it done, but this is my first time. And yeah, I obviously wouldn't recommend balancing the board on top of a case like this. Not a good idea, but I'm being lazy again, so it is what it is. Last one. Is this free? Oh. and there it comes. And that's, I mean, yeah, it's dry as hell, but nice spread. And look at that, that's a pretty substantial heatsink for, again, a pre-built system. And given its age, I'm quite impressed with that. And again, the Cooler Master, very dirty Cooler Master fan, but yeah, that's not a bad deal. And then obviously Larry Laws. I mean, the VRM. Wow. That's quite the difference to what we see these days when it comes to the power delivery. Again, I'm not an expert on the components, but that still looks very different to what we're used to seeing now. Is that a 2x1? Again, I don't know well enough, but if I sound like an idiot, I'm still learning, so there it is. Right, let's prop the processor out and see what it looks like without the okay, so leave it down, out and up, lift and we have a CPU that I can't actually get anything off of that. I'll try and get some isopropyl alcohol for the future. I'll give this a proper clean off and actually have a look at what processor it is. But again, going by the sticker from our front panel, it is Intel Pentium, but which version of Pentium I don't know. Try and get that cleaned off. Actually, I'm going to grab some tissue and see if I can just clean it enough to see if I can get out without disturbing the camera. Right, now this is just some standard tissue. For any of you that are going to scream at me for this, I won't be reinstalling and using this again, if I do at all, until I get this cleaned properly with some IPB. But it is coming off. Actually, I'm going to do this in the socket, so I'm not putting pressure on the PCB. So let's see. There we go. That's actually polished off quite nicely. Okay. We have something that I can't read. Oh, there you go. Intel Pentium dual core. Okay, 2.6 gigahertz. Okay, I can probably work out what it is from that alone. If I looked online, E5300, I think that is. Okay, so if I wanted to reuse this CPU, just put it back in the motherboard for safety, because I have no way of storing it. So I've now got the information I need to find out how good this processor is and if it's viable to try and use if I want to upgrade this system. Also, from looking at the memory, if you look there, you can see, where are we? Yeah. You can see we've got the HP brand. So Compaq was just HP's their kind of their pre-built PCs back then. So I don't know if this motherboard is a HP specific board. If that's the case, it might be difficult to upgrade because OEMs make your life difficult, but there it is. So let's just put this back in. Actually, we'll put it yeah, here. There we are. Now, let's pull out this power supply. Let's see what we're working with. Again, it works with Allen keys, which is something I'm not used to seeing with PCs. Something doesn't want to come out and it's on this side. Is it? Oh, I see. Has a little aluminium tab that gets in its way. There we go. And there is my old power supply. So, a light on power supply, never heard of them. 300 watt, wow, so a 300 watt power supply was running my old system. And yeah, so obviously it's not modular. 16 pin, 4 pin. I actually got quite a few SATA. Well, no, just the one, just the 2 SATA power that we needed for the hard drive and for the optical drive, and then all the Molex. But again, for what it is, it's not terrible. There. And then let's get the optical drive out. Now, my brother did want an optical drive in his build, which is beyond me why, but he still wants one. So if I don't do anything with this PC, I may donate the optical drive to him. But I am curious now if it's salvageable. But whoever put this in rounded the bugger off. So that is not salvageable as far as the Allen key goes. Whoops. And there is our lovely, what are we? High scribe optical drive. Now just for the hard drive. This one's the other way around. Doesn't like the flat-headed screwdriver. There we go. And this is actually a Seagate hard drive. Okay. 320 gig. Barracuda 7200.2. Yeah. So, you've now seen the, let me get back into frame. So you've now look at the case, more or less completely empty. Well, this is empty, but yeah. So that's the very last PC full tower that I've ever owned. You've seen my HP laptop in my previous videos, and you've seen the build I was going to go for. So the next few videos you see will be the parts that I've had come in. They'll be used in my system and my brother's system, depending on when they arrive. And you're going to see the kind of jump I'm going for from this machine to what I will be using in the future, which should be a massive performance boost. Again, I may just rebuild this just to do a benchmark comparison. Obviously this should be completely destroyed by anything that I put together with modern parts, but again, it still may be salvageable. I might be able to again knock together a couple of upgrades for this. I might just keep the parts for kind of just to start building a hardware collection. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see. Okay guys, you'll notice that the PC is no longer here. I've fully rebuilt the system. I got it back to the condition it was in before I ripped it apart. I've actually managed to give it a bit of a clean out as well, so it's actually in better condition than it was again before I actually started taking it apart and tearing it down. So you also have noticed that it's now morning, and that this is the very first video that I've got that's got a little bit of editing and tweaking on it. It's actually took me several hours just to learn to use the software and just to do the little bits of commentary, the little tracker you've had in the corner, that one, up in the corner, counting all the times I paused and stuttered, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that and it made the video a little bit more bearable. And for those of you that find my voice irritating, nowhere near as irritating as I find it right now after sitting there for 2-3 hours-ish listening to it over and over again. So yeah, I feel your pain, sorry about that. If I could have a better voice I would, but there it is. So if you've got any comments or questions about what you've seen, please leave them below. I'll be happy to get back to you. Now obviously I'm still very new to the handling of hardware and how all the parts work, how to identify them. So that's going to be part of my focus in the future, is actually learning the different components on each part, how they all function, how to identify them. As you saw during the recording, I couldn't work out what the memory was, and I mislabeled a few things, partly due to not having much sleep, and also partly due to just ignorance. I need to learn more about the stuff. So going forward, that's going to be an aim for me. There's another one. It's not going on the counter now. This is just the closing part of the video. So the next video is actually going to be one on my furnace and the progress of the build. Now that I've learned the editing tools, I can actually get a decent video knocked together of the build process so far. I've took ongoing footage from the time I started doing the build back in September 2018. Because I had to do it at work and my time there was limited, it's taken a long time to get to the point where it's usable. Also, the footage audio quality is terrible because at the time my phone had also been damaged, so I had to actually go out and buy a cheap camcorder, so also the video quality will not be as good as this. But I'll be able to do some voiceover work using editing software, and I'll be able to basically talk through the design and then show that part being built stage by stage to the point of where it is now, which is about 90 to 95% complete. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it if you've gotten through the entire video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.